So you gotta figure this shit out. Um, Now we go to the trickiest of the head coaching situations because everybody likes to blame Jerry Jones for what's happening in Dallas. Melvin is on the other side of this. Jerry Jones does have blame in this, but not to the extent that people want to give it to him. Let me explain. Do you know how many teams wish that they could hit on 80% of their draft picks? Because this is what the Dallas Cowboys do. This is why the Dallas Cowboys are they're in a very ill situation that after 2 or 3 years, the rookies that they drafted in the late rounds and the rookies that they draft in the first couple rounds outplay their contract. They literally outplay their contract. So you have to pay all these dudes money. So you got to make decisions, make moves. But if you had a better head coach, you could take advantage of some of these guys being on rookie contracts, playing as well as they have been playing, and you probably would have gotten a couple championships out of it if you had a better head coach. This is where Jerry Jones comes into play because he hired this dummy. He hired Mike McCarthy. He hired Jason Garrett. He hired these idiots. He did it. But he also was in the draft room drafting these players. Most people can't tell me what college Leighton Vander Esch went to. Tony Pollard. Like this, most people don't realize Tony Romo went to a Division II school.
Sure did.
Like he's drafted very, very well. He's brought in talent. A lot of their offensive linemen were not first and second round picks. They have developed a lot of really, really good players. A lot of really good players. But it's the head coach's job to take advantage of that. And Mike McCarthy has not done it. He's bad. It's horrible. How I feel about Kevin Stefanski and Nick Sirianni, I'm 3 times as worse with Mike McCarthy. Because somehow, some way, this dummy won a Super Bowl.
Oh, I can explain that. I can explain that easily. Oh, I can explain. Let me go ahead and let me learn y'all something about that man over there in Dallas, man. That oil tycoon that is Jerry Jones. Okay? Now, Jerry knows talent. That's one thing Jerry doesn't know. He knows talent for sure. Alright? And also, what a lot of people don't realize, or a lot of people like to gloss over, is Jerry Jones is actually very smart, right? Not just football-wise, but money-wise, right? That's the reason why he's a fucking billionaire, all right? He's very smart money-wise, all right? So when you look at all the non-moves that the Cowboys didn't make, right? It's because they really didn't have to. They draft so well that they don't have to go out and pay a boatload of money to a free agent when they have guys in the draft, they have guys in the draft room that can look at talent, develop talent, and take them to that next level. So he doesn't have to go out and spend 40, 45, 35 million fucking dollars to get a free agent when they know they're going to hit on a draft pick. He knows talent. So look, here's where we get to Sir Michael McCarthy, right? Now, Mel said how he won a fucking Super Bowl is beyond him, right? And a lot of people do realize that. A lot of people kind of wonder that, like, how the fuck this guy won a goddamn Super Bowl? That would be because he had a top 10 defense. I think the Green Bay Packers defense at that time was number 3. And on that defense,
that was the Charles Woodson defense.
Yes, it was. Not only was it the Charles Woodson defense, he also had a Sam Shields on that team. He also had a young, fresh Clay Matthews on that team as well. A a year prior or a year after that, Clay Matthews wins Defensive Player of the Year, right? He also has a very young Donald Driver, a very young Jordy Nelson, a very young Aaron Rodgers, a very, very, like, he has a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. It's not hard to go in there with that much talent and win a Super Bowl. Like, you would be literally the worst coach of all time to do so. Now, here's the difference, right? Here's the difference, right? You go to Dallas and you have literally a top 10 roster. You have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense, but you have to be, especially in this league, right? Especially in today's league, you have to be able to not only have a top 10 roster, but you have to be able to coach at a top 10 level in today's league. It's more than just having a top 10 roster. We're seeing that now in Cleveland. We're seeing that now in Philadelphia, right? Because it's easy to have a top 10 roster and just think that, oh, yeah, these guys are just going to carry me to the Super Bowl. That happened a lot back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see the difference between a really good coach that has a middle of the pack to good roster and an ass coach that has a great roster that can carry them to a Super Bowl or maybe one championship, but after that, they get figured the fuck out. Oh, shit. You're not really that good. You really don't know what you're doing over here. You rode the coattails of a good roster, and now that good roster has been somewhat depleted because guys get paid, guys go on to win to other teams after they win a championship, you're not as fucking good because you can't ride the coattails of your superstar rookies of the draft that you guys hit on. So when you have to come down to a team that has good talent, but that may be a little lesser, and when you go up against a team like a Kyle Shanahan, like a Sean McVay, right, like a